Want the hottest takes, boldest insights, and smartest analysis in sports today? Yeah, this is not that. This is Not Impressed with Josh Rosen.
Welcome, guys and gals, to episode 3 of Not Impressed with Josh Rosen. Once again, thank you guys for liking and subscribing my new podcast. Today's episode is going to cover the NBA Draft and the big NBA trade, Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Miami Heat. You're going to hear from Skip Payless, Nick Wrong, President Trump, Bad Dog, and of course, Stephen A. Goldsmith, as well as yours truly. So thank you guys and enjoy this episode.
Excuse me. So we just had the biggest and best NBA draft in the history of our country. I should have gone number 1 easily, okay? Because if I played in the modern NBA, I would average 100 points per game, believe me. And Canada would pay for it. So the number 1 pick goes to a guy, and by the way, it goes to the Washington Wizards, who are the biggest loser NBA franchise probably in the history of our country. Really sad, really low energy, really low IQ. You know, if I played for the Wizards, it would be the greatest and hottest ticket in the history of the NBA, believe me. But they wouldn't take me number 1 because the whole process is rigged. So they choose this guy, Dabansa, AJ Dabansa. Okay, we don't even know what AJ stands for. But the kid plays for BYU, and he averages like 90 points a game, and they still lose because they're total losers. And there's a lot of great people at BYU, a lot of tremendous people, lots of Mormons. We love the Mormons. The Mormons, they say, love President Trump. And so Washington chooses Dabansa, okay, who sounds like he's from China. And I don't think this pick's going to work out, frankly. I think it's going to be very sad, very nasty, very low IQ. Washington, D.C. basketball is a total disgrace. It's a disaster. I'm the only person that could clean it up, believe me. And then you got Peterson, who goes numero dos. Okay, see, I do know some Espanol. So Darren Peterson, who they say played fewer minutes than any college player in the history of college basketball. And he took a lot of protein. They call it creatine. Okay, I don't even know what the hell creatine is. But they say he took millions of pounds of creatine. And he goes dose to the Utah Jazz. By the way, the Utah Jazz, they haven't been relevant since the 1800s. I think it was John Stockton, the Great White Hope, alongside Karl Malone. That was the last time that franchise was relevant. Well, they're still not going to be relevant because Peterson's also going to be a disaster. Everyone in this draft's going to be terrible. Boozer, okay, Boozer goes 3 to Memphis. Memphis is not a good city. It's in very rough shape, very rough shape. I've tried to clean it up, but the mayor won't do it. They won't do it. But Boozer is not going to save that franchise. He's going to be a lot worse than Daddy Boozer, believe me. So overall, it was a disastrous draft for every franchise. They should have picked me number 1, and everyone's going to be a total loser and bust. The only way to save the NBA draft is to make me the commissioner and make me the number 1 pick in D.C. Believe me, there's your draft update. I was not impressed. Good afternoon, everybody. It's Bad Dog here for crying out loud. Everyone's going crazy. They're going nuts over this Giannis Antetokounmpo trade to the Miami Heat. Again, I hope I said his name right. Let me look at that name again. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo. Whoopee cushion, for crying out loud. Take it easy. Back in my day, you didn't have complicated names like that. It was just Bob Cousy. That was it. John Havlicek. That was it. Ricky Rubio. Dolph Shays. Every name was easy to pronounce. Chris Dudley. But nowadays, you got all these complicated names. These kids are coming from countries all over the world. I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing, for crying out loud. Now, don't get me wrong. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's a good player. He's a nice kid. He won a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks, just like Kareem. Kareem won a championship with the Bucks. He's no Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, for crying out loud. Lou Alcindor, that's what he went by, Lou Alcindor back in my day. Before the name change, for crying out loud, Stevie. But let's take it easy. If you're Pat Riley, I think Pat Riley's 600 years old, for crying out loud. The guy's on his last leg. It's like Joe Biden running the Heat. He thinks that this is the savior for your franchise. I mean, take it easy. This guy is no Hal Greer. All right? Good player. He's no Dave Bing. He's no Dave Towns. All right? He's no Sonny Hayes. He's a good player. He's a good kid. But he's not going to save the Heat's franchise. And I think it's a disgrace and a joke and an embarrassment that you got guys like Stevie and all these other people from the national media, Skip Bayless, that think he's somehow going to save this franchise. I mean, give me a break, all right? I was watching basketball in the 1800s. I saw Bob Cousy up close and personal. We worked together. I was around when they were shooting peaches into baskets attached to tree limbs. That's how far back I go. Nice kid, Greek freak. Not a good shooter. Not that athletic. Bob Cousy was more athletic than this guy, too. I know he was. Because I watched it all. And then we had the NBA draft. Everyone's going crazy. Greatest draft ever. Give me a break. Don't you remember the 84 draft with a kid named Michael Jordan? Don't you think that draft was a little bit better? I mean, I'm looking at these drafts. You had AJ the Boomba, number one. Darwin Peterson, who played about 5 minutes total in college. Cameron Boozer, who's not even half the size of his dad. The other Boozer. Caleb Wilson. Never even heard of that kid. I used to hit Wilson golf balls, for crying out loud. He's no Bob Cousy. And, I mean, it's a disgrace that people are comparing this draft to some of the all-time great NBA drafts in the 60s, 70s, and, of course, like I said, 84, which had Raheem Olajuwon, Charles Barkley, John Stockton, and, of course, Michael Jordan. So let's take it easy. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Tic Tac bar. I am not impressed by Giannis or this NBA draft. And that's all I got to say. Bad dog Russo.
It's your man Stephen A. Goldsmith here with Not Impressed. Let me be very, 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 very clear. I am not impressed with those brothers from South Beach. Pat Riley. The man's about 92 years old. So we went out and he signed that brother, Giannis. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his last name. I'll let Bad Dog do that. And look from that perspective, I love me some South Beach. For reasons that I don't need to even disclose here on Not Impressed. You guys know why I love it. Make sure the camera's on me when I'm talking. Bad Dog. Skip Bayless. There's nowhere I'd rather be in the world than South Beach. Especially when the Heat are relevant. But this brother Pat Riley gave up the damn fall to get a guy who's 30, almost 32 years old, who hasn't been out of the damn second round of the playoffs since 2022. The brother, the Greek Freak, won a title in 2021. He carried that Buck squad with Chris Middleton, those brothers, Drew Holiday. No disrespect to that brother. We know that guy, that brother's a young pit bull. But let me be very, 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 very clear. I don't think Giannis, at 32 years old, with his injury history, is box office. Don't get me wrong. He ain't a scrub. He ain't Rasho Nesterovic or Tiago Splitter. Skip pay, let's talk about Tiago Splitter. By the way, congratulations to that brother, Tiago Splitter, on becoming the new head coach of the Chicago Bulls. Good luck with that, my man. But he ain't no scrub, Giannis. We all get that. We all know that. We all respect that. He was a Finals MVP. He carried that Bucks team to a championship. But he ain't the same player he was back then. He's injury prone. And most importantly, he's coming to South Beach without any help. Now let me be very, very clear. Bam Adebayo, Idris, because I believe that's his real name, Idris. He's no scrub. He's no Chris Dudley. But at the end of the day, is that enough help to get the Miami Heat over the top? Hell no. Those bros will be lucky to get out of the first round, for crying out loud. The Knicks are better than those brothers. The Celtics are better than those brothers. I got Detroit and Cleveland better than those brothers. As much as I love Coach Spo and that brother Pat Riley, Andy Ellisberg in that front office, I don't like this trade at all. Because what you gonna do? You gave up all your damn young assets like that brother Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez Jr. and those brothers. You gave up all your damn first round picks. And now at best you're a first round, maybe second round exit for the next 3 to 4 years. So I don't like it one bit. Now that said, I'm rooting for the Heat because you know there's nowhere I'd rather be other than orange and blue skies than South Beach. Now to the NBA Draft. I love me some AJ DeBonsa. I think this brother is box office. I think this brother has the potential to be the biggest marquee attraction in Washington, D.C. since Barack Hussein Obama. That's right, I said that. I predict the Washington Wizards will turn their franchise around with that brother. But some of these other picks, Darren Peterson, that brother from Kansas, going to the Utah Jazz, stand up Salt Lake. I like Danny Ainge and those brothers in the front office, but I don't trust Darren Peterson one bit. I mean, the brother missed about 35 games in his one season, for crying out loud. Cameron Boozer, number 3 to Memphis. He's no scrub, but I think his ceiling is like his father, Carlos Boozer, who was kind of box office, but he wasn't great. But I get it. Chicago Bulls drafting that brother Caleb Wilson. Now this brother right here might be the steal of the damn draft. He might end up being the best player. I watched that brother at UNC. He was no scrub. So maybe the Bulls get revitalized. And finally, let me just say this. What the hell are the Brooklyn Nets doing? It's bad enough that nobody cares about your damn team. There's only one team in New York, stand up New York. Orange and blue skies. But then on top of that, you draft this brother, Mikhail Brown Jr. No disrespect to the brother from Louisville. But why not Darius Acuff Jr. from Arkansas? That brother's box office. He's no scrub. the Brooklyn Nets might be better off moving back to New Jersey. Crying out loud. So I was not impressed by what I saw from those Brooklyn Nets. But at the end of the day, it's orange and blue skies. Orange and blue skies. Orange and blue skies. And South Beach. So hold on a minute, Brew. Hello, guys. This is Nick Wrong. Not impressed with Josh Rosen. You know what I mean? Today I'm going to be discussing my take on the NBA draft and the idea, Brew, to your point, KW, that I would be discussing the NBA draft without not first mentioning that Josh Allen is not as good as Patrick LeVon Mahomes II. That would be an abomination. You know what I mean? Now listen, guys. Clearly the greatest draft of all time was 2003. That's because it had LeBron James, who, by the way, buddy, is the greatest athlete in human civilization. Well, at least tied with Patrick LeVon Mahomes. You know what I mean? But this is a pretty good draft, guys. This 2026 NBA draft is one of the best that I can remember since 2026. You know what I mean? KW. And to your point, buddy. But listen, guys. My favorite pick of this draft, not AJ Debonsa, who I think is going to be phenomenal in Washington. You know what I mean? It's not Cam Boozer, Carlos Boozer's son, who I think is going to be a very steady player, just like his dad was in Memphis. You know what I mean? Perennial 18 to 20 point a game guy. You know what I mean? It's not Darren Peterson, who I like a lot, although I'm a little bit worried because of what happened at Kansas. You know what I mean? The player that I think is going to be the best pick in this draft, the best player in this draft, and perhaps an all-time great, is Darius Acuff Jr., who was selected 7th by the Sacramento Kings. You know what I mean? Clearly, this guy reminds me a little bit of Jalen Brunson. And here's why. You know what I mean? He's short. He's listed at 6'3", but I'd be surprised if he was 6'1". You know what I mean? He was freshman, not only SEC All-Freshman, but he was actually the SEC Player of the Year. You know what I mean? He's a great offensive player. I mean, that's not even a question. You know what I mean? I mean, the guy averaged 23 points per game and nearly 7 assists per game. You know what I mean? At that size, that's just phenomenal. But this idea that he would fall to 7th, I think that's just going to motivate him even more than he already was. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of teams are going to regret passing on Darius Acuff Jr. I would not be shocked if he turns out to be like Jalen Brunson. Maybe his first season or two, he averages 15, 16 points. But I will say this. The Sacramento Kings franchise has had no real leader or star since the days of Chris Webber and Peja Stojakovic. You know what I mean? So he will be handed the keys to that city. And I truly believe Darius Acuff Jr. out of Arkansas, another guy, another one of John Calipari's guys, is going to have major success in the NBA. And I think this draft is going to be most remembered for the teams that didn't choose Darius Acuff Jr. You know what I mean? Brew, KW. So I am impressed with that young man. And I am not impressed with all the teams that passed on him. LeBron James is the GOAT. You know what I mean? The idea. Brew?
You've been listening to Not Impressed with your host, Josh Rosen. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite content. Yes! To learn more about the incredible Josh Rosen, be sure to follow him at Josh Impressions on TikTok, Instagram, and X. Yes! Thanks for listening to Not Impressed.